Hello, Oakland. We are so happy to be here today. Today is a truly special day for this community, for the city, for Andre and his family who are all here today with us. Oakland is synonymous with hard work, toughness, loyalty, and pride. Today, the native son returns. A man who represents all those characteristics will stand before you. And unlike many in the professional sports world, Andre Ward is here to fight for the city of Oakland. The best boxer in the world, the face of his sport, the hero and icon of this historic town. He fights for Oakland. He did so last November when he staged an epic comeback against dangerous challenger Sergey Kovalev and emerged victorious. After Andre's win, there was a lot of talk, a lot of debate, a lot of speculation, a lot of excuses. But Oakland doesn't make excuses. Oakland doesn't talk. Oakland acts. So on June 17th, Andre will be back in the ring with this entire community behind him for Ward Kovalev to the rematch. On that night, he will continue to cement his legacy as boxing's best. And there will be no excuses. On that night, we return to Las Vegas, where all big fights belong, live at the Manalay Bay Event Center and on HBO pay-per-view. Rock Nation is proud to be the lead promoter of this global event, presented by Corona Extra and powered by Monster Products. A big thank you to Monster founder Noel Lee, who is in attendance today. Perhaps no other sport is as much about legacy as the sport of boxing. And make no mistake about it, this is a legacy fight for both fighters. Andre Ward is the best boxer in the world. There is simply no debate. He is undefeated, breathlessly talented, gifted, with that Oakland work ethic, and has gladly taken on any fighter with the guts to face him. For Andre, this fight represents the final nail in the coffin for the rest of this division and his would-be competitors, and the latest feat in a career that only can be defined as flawless. For Sergey, he has a lot to prove, which may be why he's been so, let's call it, active on social media. After falling short in November, Sergey has become his own personal hype machine. In one of his latest posts, Sergey said, "Andre slaps like women." Grammatical issues aside, and on behalf of all the strong Oakland women in the audience today and all throughout the city, I'd like to say thank you, Sergey, for that wonderful compliment. As someone who has spent the better part of the past 3 decades promoting sports and entertainment, I'll give Sergey a lot of credit. He had some great sound bites in New York yesterday. He said, "Andre wears a crown." Actually, Sergey, they are belts, and you should know. I think a couple of them used to be yours. He said he dislikes Andre, which brings the number of people here in Oakland today that dislike Andre a total of 2 people, you and Kathy Duva. But in all seriousness, the stakes could not be higher for this rematch. And when Sergey says Andre will not show up for this fight, that tells me he hasn't done his research. Andre has built his career on shining brightest in the biggest moments. June 17th is the biggest of moments. More than just wins and championship belts, this fight will ultimately dictate the fate of each fighter's legacy. MGM and HBO are synonymous with the biggest and best boxing events, and Rock Nation is honored to be working in partnership with them, yet another historic event. This event would not have been possible without the support of Richard Sturm and Sid Greenflag of MGM and HBO's Peter Nelson and Tony Walker, who is here today. I'd like to take this opportunity to specifically thank them. I'd also like to thank our chairman, Jay-Z, and president of Rock Nation Sports, Juan Perez, for their support of this sure-to-be epic event. Despite what you read in some corners of the boxing world, this rematch was always inevitable. Both fighters wanted it, and both promoters wanted it. Additionally, a big thank you to our presenting partner, Corona Extra, as well as, again, Monster Products. I would also like to acknowledge the Oakland Marriott for their support and hosting of our event today. Last but certainly not least, thank you to Team Ward, Andre, James Prince, Josh Dubin, Virgil Hunter, and the incredible fans here in Oakland. Not only for once again putting your unblemished championship record on the line under the bright lights of Sin City, but for being incredible partners throughout the process and the best ambassadors the sport of boxing could possibly ask for. Now, I'm excited to invite Main Event's owner and CEO, Kathy Duva, to the microphone. Thank you.
Oh, Michael. Look, I want to thank everyone involved with this event, HBO, of course, the Mandalay Bay, and the people at the MGM Entertainment, Richard Sturm, our sponsors, Corona, Monster, and everybody who came out today. If Andre Ward is half as tough in the ring as his promoter talks, I suppose Sergey may have his hands full. But we are coming to Las Vegas in June, and Sergey has one goal in mind, and that is to make sure that the winner actually wins the fight this time. Thank you very much.
Now, to start our introductions, he really needs no introduction. HBO Pay-Per-View Vice President Tony Walker.
Thank you, Michael. Good afternoon, everyone. And on behalf of our Executive Vice President, Peter Nelson, and the rest of the staff at HBO, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out to talk some big-time boxing today. First, I want to thank Michael and Kathy and their staffs at Rock Nation and Main Events. It's not easy putting big-time fights together, no matter how much everybody wants it. And the fighters wanted it, the promoters worked, and we have here, June 17th, one of the biggest sporting events of the year. I would also like to thank, as Michael did, the community of Oakland. This has always been a boxing city. We have great viewership numbers from Oakland and the entire Bay Area, no matter who seems to fight. So we appreciate the support. We love the support you give Andre, great homegrown guy in every way. And we know that we're going to do some big business here in the Oakland area and throughout the Bay Area for the fight. I would just like to say the fight will be distributed by all the usual distributors, the cable, the satellite, and telephone companies. And I guarantee you a good picture, great sound, and a great broadcast that night for the suggested retail price of $54.95. The telecast will start at 6 p.m. We think we have the best broadcast team in the business. And it's going to be a fun night to gather friends and family for a great sporting event. I would just say that when a lot is on the line, as there is in this fight, there's drama. And there's no better TV than when drama is involved. So thank you very much. And if we don't see you in Las Vegas, hopefully you'll get a chance to watch it on HBO or HBO Pay-Per-View. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Kathy, the floor is yours to introduce your team.
I am going to begin by introducing Sergey's manager, the manager of the year. According to the boxing writers this year, well-deserved. He's coming off a spectacular weekend where he had 3 fighters that you saw on television all turn in beautiful performances, and one other that you didn't see. He is the future of management of boxing, I think, in our sport, and I am pleased and proud to have met him 5 years ago and let him talk me into taking a look at his fighter. Aegis Klimas.
Good afternoon, everybody. Talking is very, very cheap. Trust me, I've been in this business for a little while. I've seen many times managers, trainers, promoters coming and talking a lot of shit into microphone. But then it comes to the night, this is a two-mans who's gonna go in the ring and they're gonna fight. None to do with the promotionals, none to do with the managers, none to do with the trainers. Trainers might be gonna give them advice, but these two guys is gonna survive. You can't lie to the people's eyes what they saw on November 19th. I'm not gonna talk about it, I'm not gonna go in there because it's already a history. Forget about it. I want everybody to see who is going to be coming to Vegas on the June 17th, what is going to happen. We can't predict, it's a boxing. I wanted to thank everybody who is involved in this fight putting together, HBO pay-per-view, Las Vegas. I wanted to thank, as always, all the media, because without you guys, nobody will know what's happening. I wanted to thank everybody else. We'll see you on the June 17th.
As Agus said, it's not about the rest of us up here, it's about the fighters. Sergey Kovalev is probably the biggest perfectionist I've ever met. I've seen him walk away from fights that he's knocked the opponent out in 2 rounds and apologized for his performance. Everybody keeps talking about excuses here on the other side. Nobody's making any. He's blaming himself. He has apologized to his fans for not making that win emphatic enough so that people couldn't take it from him, because with all the respect in the world to Andre Ward, he didn't take Sergey's belts. They were taken from Sergey. And so I'm going to bring him up to talk to you. Agus will translate for him. Sergey wants to speak in Russian so that he can fully express his feelings, because his vocabulary in English, he's still working on that. So they're both going to come up. You're going to speak in Russian this time? Yeah, so Sergey Kovalev.
Hi, everyone. Они говорят, что я должен доказать еще много чего в ринге и много кому. Но я вас уверяю, я никому ничего не должен доказывать и не буду доказывать, потому что я уже все доказал. Я не был никогда чемпионом мира по любителям или олимпийским чемпионом, даже в призах не был. Я пришел из глубин неизвестности и дошел до этого уровня, высшего уровня профессионального бокса, и надрал ему задницу в прошлом бою 19 ноября. Все, кто этого не видел, молитесь дальше на своего Андре Уорда. И 17 июня все станет на свои места. А за свои слова я вам это обещаю, за свои слова я постараюсь ответить 17 июня.
Hello, everybody. Let me put that together somehow. Other side is saying I have to prove a lot, I have to show a lot. I don't need nothing to prove, I don't need nothing to show. I showed and I proved everything on November 19th. And anybody who hasn't seen that or doesn't think that, you're going to see it on June 17th. This is what I promised, and this is what I'm going to do it. And the ones who think about Andre's Ward victory, you can still pray for him, because I'm going to show on a June 17th. Что ты скажешь?
Сам он говорит, даже имя не хочу его называть, но сам он говорит, что это наследие. Наследие чего? Того результата, что сработала его команда за кулисами. Это отличная работа, что они сделали. Они получили эти пояса, но 17 июня справедливость восторжествует.
He's saying and everything is worked out by his team and everybody. He got those belts somehow, but he got those belts. I think June 17th is going to be the day where it's going to be June 17th is going to be the day where everybody going to see the way it's supposed to be in real. They're going to make it right, yes.
Okay, see you June 17. Thank you.
And now let's introduce Team Ward. First up, his manager, James Prince.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to thank God for this opportunity. HBO, a good friend, Peter Nelson, Rock Nation Sports, Mike, hard worker, and the rest of the team, Dez, Juan Perez, my good friend Jay-Z, solid as a rock, has been a major support system for us, and I know they're going to do a great job on this pay-per-view card. We're excited by June the 17th, as we were past year when we took care of Goliath over here, Sergey. We done what we had to do with him, and now June the 17th is right around the corner. So I don't know if Sergio's manager repeated everything that Sergey was saying. You know, it seemed to be a disconnection going on. I don't know if he wanted to say what he was saying, and I think they're confused today as they're going to be June the 17th in that ring when he see he can't accomplish the things that he want to accomplish. As I said to him yesterday, I reiterated today, because for some reason I get the feeling that he thinks somebody's scared of him. You know what I mean? Bullies think that way. You know, he feel like he could say things to impose fear in men of God's heart. And I told him, men of God, we don't fear nothing, you know, because we know no weapon formed against us shall prosper. But for some reason, I don't think he believe it, and I know Andre Ward don't need no help with him, you know, with the threats that he's making. He feel and felt like he wanted to hit Andre Ward in his head. And a word to the wise, to all of them that's listening. Do what you're going to do in the ring, because you're in a place that's called town business. You know what I mean? And we don't play them kind of games outside of the ring. So let's stay focused and attempt to try and hit him in the head in the ring, because you're going to have problems with that. But you have real big problems outside of the ring. So with that being said, I'm gonna take my seat. And I don't know if this manager, I mean, I respect you and everything you've done, but, you know, Andre Ward team means something to him. When we speak, our words carry value. So for you to get up here and act like what we say don't mean nothing, maybe that's how it go on in Russia. But over in the United States of America, you know, we got value with what we say. So once again, United States of America shall be victorious, June the 17th, and no weapons formed against us shall prosper. Thank you.
And now to talk a little bit more about Andre, his legendary trainer, Virgil Hunter.
It's good to see everybody here, friends and reporters and those who we don't even know. it's a good fight coming June 17th against the most dangerous and most feared light heavyweight in the world. That's Sergey Kovalev against a lucky, victorious man in Andre Ward who, got a gift in November. So I guess this fight here will pretty much settle it. I think if you look at the realistic facts of it all, I think only Sergey's been on the media talking. I think Mr. Klima should understand that we haven't said a word, but it's been from ending people's careers to knocking you out to insulting God Almighty. All that's coming from this side. So we understand what goes on, and I think it's a lot of doubt, it's a lot of anger. I don't see Coach Jackson here today, and to be honest, I don't expect to see him June 17th because you got to put the blame somewhere. And
Virgil, just like we didn't see you yesterday in New York, we're not seeing John here today because we have a fight this weekend. He's training his fighter. He'll see you in June. Don't worry about it.
I'm here today.
We know
That's
you.
all.
We-
I'm here today.
All right. Well, you weren't there yesterday. What was the problem?
I'll wait till you finish. You done? Okay. I don't see Coach Jackson here today. We'll deal with that situation a little further on down the road that I'm sure will upheave the whole boxing world. See, there's some things that go on in this game that when you have the right channels and when you have the right avenues, you get information quite accurately. And we'll reveal that later on down the road. But I'm looking for a real good fight. Sergey Kovalev is definitely not underestimated. I don't have a problem saying that before we fought, I was a fan of his. I'm still a fan of his. I just won't be a fan of his on June 17th. But I am a fan of his. No doubt, this is not me blowing smoke. I admire his skill. I always knew that if we came across each other, that it was going to be a tough fight, difficult fight, and a fight of attrition. And I expect the same thing June 17th. I think Andre said it best when he said somebody's will is going to be broke in that fight. But it would be nice to go into that fight without biting the hand that fed you. Everybody's an expert, from the reporters to the announcers, when it comes to judging a fight, but those who are trained to do it and right there to do it, all of a sudden they were all wrong that night. So I think that's an insult to what goes on in boxing. I think it wasn't right. I think it was wrong, particularly since HBO has built Sergey into the star that he rightfully is. But I think he felt that that same cushion was going to bail him out in a fight. And like I said before, and I'll say today, I'll challenge anybody to sit with me and show me where he won the fight. Anybody to sit with me and show me where he won the fight. He fought a hell of a fight because he's a hell of a fighter. But he didn't win the fight. So I guess all the answers will be answered June 17th. My advice is relax, don't be uptight. But you can't drink year in and year out and expect at some point for it not to catch up to you. And I would bet money that if we could go internally inside, that's one of the causes that is causing him to fatigue now. It's not the overtraining, it's not this, and it's not that. It's the same guy, it's just that guys are standing up and going 12 rounds now. I mean, that happens in boxing. But you can't drink vodka year in and year out and expect on fight night to fight somebody like Dre. And incidentally, if I can just have one excuse against the many that came, we didn't even get to run for that fight to make sure the fight happened. It's no secret that, we were battling some issues, and we didn't even get to run for that fight. So we fought him without no road work, which is true. So thank God that we're able to put some time on the road now, and hopefully that will end up in a more convincing manner for those who are fans. When you're a fan of a fighter, you only look at that fighter. And that's the problem that we have with our reporters and critics today. They're in love with Sergey because of the way he does things. He knocks people out. So when you are a fan of that particular individual, that's who you're going to watch. When it's fight, you're not going to look at the fight objectively like you're supposed to. That goes for the announcers, critics, and everybody else. It's a big Euro movement going on in the States now. And that push is really an insult to the American fighters, but it is what it is. It's not their fault, it's our fault. So until we have our people who report the fight rightfully get behind us, it'll continue to be this way. Thank everybody once again.
That was pretty powerful. Thank you, Virgil. Now the moment you've all been waiting for. The best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. The face of boxing. A proud Oakland native. A family man. An athlete Rock Nation Sports is honored to represent. He is 31-0. Hasn't lost a fight since he was 13 years old, and a man who doesn't know the meaning of the word excuse. On June 17th, he will continue to secure his legacy as an all-time great. Ladies and gentlemen, the champ, Andre Ward.
What's up, Oakland? I appreciate everybody for coming out today. It's always good to be home in the Bay Area. It's amazing how in a short time, in 8, 9, 10 years, we put the Bay on the map in terms of the boxing world, where Oakland used to be a major fight town. We got away from it, and through myself and many other young fighters, contenders, guys who may not have had opportunities that I was, afforded, they're doing their part, man, to continue to represent the Bay in a major way. So that's a beautiful thing. I'm excited about this rematch. These are moments I dreamed about as a kid. I love it. I love the back and forth. I love some people being with me, some people not being with me. I don't mind the stuff they talk about on social media and what they say. That's perception. And I try to deal in the reality. Because at the end of the day, you got to see me June 17th. We got to fight. I don't care what you say. I don't care what the team says. That's going to sell pay-per-views. That's going to make headlines. That's going to, all that is good. I love it. It's part of the business. I understand the business very well. So I'm good with that. But if you guys know me, like the boxing world knows me, the Bay Area knows me, I don't have to do a lot of talking. And to my young guys coming up, you don't have to talk the loudest. Just show up when you're supposed to show up. You let everybody make the noise, and then you lock in and do what you got to do to prepare. And then when it's time, in that biggest moment, when the lights come on, find a way to get it done. Because boxing right now is not like it used to be. It's a climate right now where it's a lot of talk. And then guys don't do what they say they're going to do. They don't perform. Then they find excuses on why they didn't perform. It's only a handful of guys in history that I know that talked it and backed it up. We don't have a lot of that today. So it's okay to not be the loudest talker in the room. But when it's time to shine, be that guy. Be the hardest worker. And another thing, I want to encourage everybody, every fighter in this room, you don't let anybody beat you before you get in the ring. I don't care what you say. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what your reputation is. It's a healthy respect that you have for an opponent to make you prepare physically and mentally and get ready. You got to have that. But you don't let anybody, media, broadcasters, fighters, anybody beat you before you get in the ring. You make them earn it. And if they do it, tip your hat to them and give them their credit. But you're not going to beat me on a reputation, man. And this is the first time this team has met a team where that stuff ain't working. So you beat me, you're going to earn it. So I hope he's the best that he can be. I hope he makes the adjustments he's supposed to make. We're going to get ready. We're not taking it for granted. That's what big rematches and that's what big fights are all about. I want the best Sergey. I want his team to be focused. I want him to be focused. My team's going to be focused. And let's see what happens. And the question I have for him and his team is, with all that loud talking, who y'all trying to convince? Me or him?
Thank you, Andre. Before we close, I also want to take a moment to acknowledge another star of Rock Nation right here in the Bay Area, Kevin Durant, and wish his Golden State Warriors luck as they begin their quest for a 2017 NBA title. Okay? But back to June 17th.
You psyched him out, Michael. They thought KD was in the back, man.
Listen, if I didn't give him a shout out, he'd be upset with me since I'm seeing him later, so you got to give the big fella a shout out. Come on. Go Warriors. That's a New Yorker cheering on the Warriors. Okay? But back to June 17th. This is the type of fight that is decided by pride and guts, toughness, overcoming adversity, and just ultimately who wants it more. For Andre Ward, being raised by the city of Oakland is his ultimate advantage. He was born with incredible talent and ability, but Oakland gave him his toughness, his pride, and his uncanny ability to stare down any challenge and dominate it. June 17th will be no different. At the end of the night, there will only be one champion, and there will be no excuses. A brief reminder that our media tour moves to Los Angeles tomorrow for its final stop, and pre-sale begins as well. Tickets go on sale to the public on Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern and 10 a.m. Pacific. Tickets are priced at $12.55, $7.55, $5.05, $3.55, $2.55, and $1.05, and will be available on axis.com. That's AXS. Hey guys, I'm trying to promote the fight to try to put money in your pocket. Okay? Let's be professional here. Again, let me repeat that. Tickets will be available on axis.com, AXS.com, and at the Manalay Bay Event Center box office. We will now open up questions from the media. Thank you.
So this is a two-part question. To me, it seems like the fight was really a fight of two halves. I feel like Sergey had the most success early on in the fight. He scored the knockdown. He was able to land a lot of hard, clean blows. Whereas I felt that you, Andre, made some adjustments in the second half, sort of typical with some of your fights where even if you've got some struggles early on, you make some adjustments, you sort of move forward from that. And it feels like you had a lot more success in the second half of the fight. So I'm kind of curious to know, from your perspective and then from Sergey's perspective, what was it about Sergey's style or skills that gave you sort of those issues early on in the fight? And then Sergey, I wanted to know, in that second half of the fight where you weren't able to land the bigger shots that you did in the first half, what was it about Andre's sort of change in style that gave you the most problems?
I mean, I don't really want to get into, too many details about, what he did. I've talked about this in New York. I've talked about it before I got here today. He's a good fighter, champion pedigree. He's defended his title many, many times. In big fights, you got to make adjustments. So if something isn't working, you got to find a way to neutralize his strengths and take away his strengths and neutralize his weaknesses, and we did that. I didn't start it as early as I wanted to, but it's no excuses. I got to go and I got to make adjustments where, I don't allow him to have that kind of success that early on.
Мой ответ будет таким. Давайте не будем смотреть, что было, давайте посмотрим, что есть сейчас. Сейчас есть два боксера, у которого есть титулы, у которого нет. У того, у которого есть титулы, он их получил так, как он их получил, и весь мир знает, как он их получил. А второй боксер жаждет вернуть эти пояса. И посмотрим, что будет 17 июня.
I don't want to go in the past, and I don't want to negotiate right now about the fight, what happened and what didn't happen. I just wanted to go forward and to state what we have: two fighters who one of them who is holding the titles, and the way he got those titles, and we have another guy here who gave those titles away, and he wants to return it back. Let's go back. Let's see what's going to happen June.
All right, moving forward, both fighters will be available if you guys want to come up and ask questions as opposed to doing it in a public forum. Okay? Thank you so much.
I will finish your career. I promise you, everybody.